season, when you're shopping in the malls, or sometimes maybe wherever you are, you're going to hear the radio. They're playing these songs right now. Because these songs all tell the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. And that's what the season is about for us. So all these songs in it have that story. So whenever you're shopping, you'll think, oh, I've heard that song before. And also, it used to be many years ago, I haven't really seen it much recently, but they used to take groups of kids, maybe even teenagers from maybe local churches or groups, and they would do Christmas caroling. And sometimes the churches do it today, where they'll take a group of people, and they'll just go outside, and they'll walk the streets. They'll go to someone's house and they'll knock on the door and they just start singing these Christmas carols. And the people just listen to them and watch and then enjoy the music.
And when I was a Girl Scout leader, every year one of my favorite field trips was to take my group of Girl Scouts, kindergarten up to 8th grade, depending on the age of my daughters. And we would go to a convalescent home or an old folks home where the grandparents live. And we would like to sing to all of them. Some of them were like assisted living where people had their own apartment, and we would sing in the cafeteria. Other places people were very sick and were near to death, but we would love to go sing around to all the older people, and I love to shake their hands and let them know that somebody really cares about
And we'll close with, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The tidings we bring to you and yours dear. The tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Anything he wanted, he pretty much had. Well, when he became older, he became a bishop. And a bishop was a well-respected man. He was a religious leader of his time. Well, he wanted to rid himself of all the wealth that he had. So he became very generous. And some of the stories, and some of them are legendary, some of the facts are confused, but to redeem them. There's one story about 3 young gals who were getting themselves in trouble. They were involved in prostitution. And what he did was he sort of took these girls, and the legend is that he threw bags of gold out their window to pay off the people who kept coming to try to grab hold of him. For 3 days in a row, he threw this gold out the windows. Well, when people heard of that, they sort of started realizing that this was no ordinary man. This was a unique man. He had a heart of gold, but he wasn't attached to gold. And as he began to just give whatever he had, he didn't want anything to hold him down to this earth. So he became very detached from material possessions of all kinds. So in America, well, as the centuries went on and people started hearing about St. Nicholas, many things changed and the stories changed as the years went on. But different schools were named after him, and then people started following the suit of giving. And Christmas is a time for us to give, and so we have a gift here, gift exchange that we do in America, and people spend time just going shopping, and it's a time to be selfless. It's a time to give, even if you don't have much, you give what you can. Some people make their gifts because they don't have much. They'll make them and then just give them. But Santa Claus, the Santa Claus we know today, sort of became famous actually through advertising. And all of you know Coca-Cola Company, right? All right. So one of the most famous pictures that you see is St. Nicholas or Santa Claus drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola, right? So, yeah, it's the real thing. So, when I was a child, my parents told me that Santa Claus was going to visit us. And I believed as a child that all the gifts that were under the tree came from St. Nicholas. And I would ask my mom and dad, how does St. Nicholas come into my house? And they said, well, that's very easy. He flies in the sky, and he has a sleigh, and it has reindeers, and he flies and he lands on the roof. And then he comes down the fireplace. Now, there's a fireplace over here. And so, St. Nicholas somehow would fit, in a very small opening, and he was sort of a rotunda man. And he would slide down, and he would bring his bag of gifts, and he would put them out in the tree. So most children today believe this story because the parents tell them this story from the time they're very young. So as a child, you think in your mind, well, Santa must be very tired because he has to stay up all night and he has to visit everybody's home in the whole world. How does he do it, right? Well, as a child, you don't confuse yourself with those facts, how he does it. Who cares how he does it? You just want to make sure he comes to your house, right? So when he visits you, you want to make sure you have some refreshments for him. So what we used to do was we would have a little plate of cookies and maybe a glass of milk for him to eat when he came. So in the morning when you got up, oftentimes you would see the milk was drunk and maybe a bite or two was taken from the cookies. So you knew St. Nicholas or Santa Claus had visited your home. Now sometimes we would also leave him a dime. And who knows why we would leave him a dime?
I don't know, we didn't do that in our family. We left carrots for the reindeer.
You left carrots for the reindeer. Okay. Well, we left him a dime because if he got thirsty, he could buy a Coca-Cola.
You're dating yourself, Mark.
Yeah. That's when Coca-Cola only cost 10 cents. So, that was a long time ago. But that's kind of the story of St. Nicholas. So when you go out shopping and you go into the malls, you're going to see Santa Claus because all the moms and dads love to take their children to sit on Santa Claus's lap. And they ask Santa Claus, or Santa Claus will ask them a very important question. It's a question all the kids think about all year long. And he says, have you been naughty or nice all year? Because if you've been naughty, then you don't get what you want for Christmas. But if you've been nice and generous, then your wish will come true.
And obedient.
And obedient, yes.
We tell our kids if
So,
they're not obedient.
exactly.
we
So the
tell Santa
parents, all year long, they use Santa Claus to manipulate their children. And they say, if you're not good, Santa will not bring you the presents you want. So many children fear Santa. So anyway, so when they get older then, the big disappointment in their life comes when they realize Santa is a myth. He is not true at all. Some kids, they will cry. Some kids will believe it and they will fight their friends. And their friends will say, oh, there's no such thing as Santa. Yes, there is, I know, because I saw him. You saw him? When did you see him? He was at my house last night. How can that be? And they argue back and forth and they fight. Because the imagination is very powerful. Because when I was about 6 years old, I believed I saw Santa. I was waiting up. It was Christmas Eve. And I waited up and I was by my window and I kept looking at the sky, thinking. And I could swear I saw his sleigh travel across and then disappear. But then the next morning there were gifts under my tree, so I knew he had visited my house. But it's a disappointment that the children they learn to adjust to, and they realize it's not true. They realize that, you know who Santa really was? It was their mom and dad. They're the ones who bought all the presents and all the gifts. So it's a good story, and it happens. And so tonight we have St. Nicholas. I believe he's around somewhere. St. Nicholas, are you here? I think he needs us Holler for him. Let's holler for St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas! Are you here? Spirit, go look in the door and see if St. Nicholas is coming. Santa Claus. Look under the chimney. He's in the bathroom. Well, the real problem with St. Nicholas is that the truth is he can't fit down the chimney. Because the chimney is not a straight hole. It's got a block, so the air gets sucked up when you put a fire in, and it travels around and loops around, and then it goes back out. Many of thieves have tried to get into homes thinking they could be like St. Nicholas. They try to sneak down the chimney, and then they get stuck. And then they die. It's actually happened many times. Yes.
Merry Christmas! Candy canes and suckers for everybody! Ho, ho, ho! I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired! Ho, ho, ho!
Where are you from?
I am from the North Pole.
Oh.
It's very cold where I come from.
Very good.
Come on in, get some more, everybody. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! I got plenty in here for everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody being good this
Hey,
year?
Santa, come and have a seat. We'll pass some of those out for you. Come on. Oh, how did you know my name? I thought you said you remember me when
I know everybody. Kept a list, identifies, check it. I know all of that.
Oh, okay. Very good.
I don't know where my deer's names are though.
You don't know your reindeer's
I don't
name?
know all of them, so to get a little old.
Yeah, about how old are you now, Santa?
29.
It's so nice to have you with us. This is the first visit we've actually had from Santa in all our parties, and we thought you forgot about us, but
No, how could I forget my new friends from across the world?
yeah, White Elephant Gift Exchange. So, thank you. Okay, so many times on Christmas, if you have friends, you know, you all get together and you say to your friends, please bring a white elephant gift. Now, what that means is a white elephant is something that you really don't want. Okay? Now, we have a saying in America, and it says, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So, what you don't want, you may not like at all, someone else may really, really desire. So, underneath this tree, we have a lot of gifts that people don't want. But if you open it up, it may be something very desirable. Okay? So that's what we call a white elephant gift exchange. So each of you has a number. And the way it works, I will call out number one. Number one will come up here. He can choose any gift he wants. He takes it, and what you would do is actually just open it up, and then you look at it and go, nice gift, right? Number one. Now number two, I will call. Number two has a choice. He can take number one's gift, or he can choose a new one.
Like here, I'm number one, I got this, but you like it, so you're gonna
I
steal
take
it.
it. So if I take it, then number one go gets another gift. Okay? And he opens it up. Now number three can look at these gifts. He can choose this one, or he can choose a new one.
I'm number 92, so I can take care of everybody.
Right.
I'm number 92, I can take anything.
Right. So it's beneficial to have a later number. But here's the rule. Okay, there's a couple rules to this game. If somebody steals a gift, okay, that gift can only be stolen twice. Twice. We're going to go twice. All right. But here's the deal. You only get 5 seconds to decide. In other words, you can't go maybe. You get 5 seconds and we're all going to count. So as soon as you get it, we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then you got to decide. All right? Or you keep the gift. All right, so you got it?
And you open it as soon as you get it?
Yes. Any questions? Okay, now because we have a lot of people, we kind of have to move rapidly. So let's go with number 1.
I win!
Okay.
Let me see here.
Take your pick here.
I'll take this one.
Okay. Open it up here. What is that? Colored pencils. Okay, number 2. Number 2. You don't want that gift? Okay. Yeah, you can sit here and open it, sure. We make you comfortable. Because everybody wants to see what you have. Rip it up. Oh, by the way, we realize that, you know, a lot of times you guys from Asia really take your time. But let me show you how you open this gift.
Oh, nice.
Look at everybody examine it. Nice. Okay. Number 3. Number 3. Peanuts. Okay, 39, that was 39? 40. 40, right here. Twice. Okay. That gift, no one can steal that gift anymore. Mike, you might take the cash. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, let's see what you got here. Rip it open. And it's now.
Honey bun. No, it's 10 chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gift card.
Oh, my gosh, Junior.
Carl Jr. $8.50. Oh, there's another. Let's see. This might tell you. $10 gift card to Carl's Jr.
Where's that $20?
All right, number 40. Number 40. 41. That would be me. Number 41. Number 41. I really want that, but it's already been stolen twice. What can I say? But you know what? Cash is the time. Cash speaks to me.
Michael, I want that gift card. I was a business major at TBU.
Oh, nice, beautiful, Michael.
These are the pots that go with your. There, look, watch. Hold it up like this. Yeah, see these go. Maybe not.
All right, 42?
42.
42. All right. There, you want the purse? Is Okay, let's see what you got here. Some crayons.
版权所有，要合影吗？要合影吗？You want to take a picture? I am not happy. 一下子我成了明星。Here, because the light is too bright.
Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!